I don't know about y'all, but I had ties for this one here. When y'all think about it, y'all understand. Number 10, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. Can I see these both as one movie? I mean, all the flashy stuff aside and seeing all the big superheroes going up against Thanos aside, I think that the secret sauce though is the music, Jed. The music, I thought that I think it's Alan Silvestri, I think that's his name. I thought he killed it. Yeah. Portals. Every time I hear that song though, like in Endgame, dog, man tears. But this was like a perfect culmination of 22 years. How long is how much years is he? No, sorry, 22 films, 22 movies.
22 films, 10 years.
Yeah, roughly around that time. Yeah. I wanted to put the first Avengers on this list here, but I was like, nah, boy, Avengers, Infinity Game, and then Infinity War and Endgame really topped them, in my opinion. Alright, I read it too fast here, please forgive me. Number 9. Yes, it's your fault, Jed. Number 9. Probably the best urban drama I've seen all decade. Blind Spotted. This was my favorite movie of 2018. I dug this. As a fan of Daveed Diggs, both as an actor, as a rapper, he came in, killed it. That story was so well told. I don't really want to get into the logistics about it, but it has one of the best and most impactful climaxes of any show I've ever seen though. That one really, really got to me. One of the best experiences ever. Number 8. Speaking of Denis Villeneuve and Prisoners, Blade Runner 2049, boy. Yeah. This one took a great movie, really Scott's masterpiece, flawed masterpiece still, Blade Runner, and just expanded on the story in so many interesting ways though. You got a great performance from Ryan Gosling, and just when you wonder where Harrison Ford and all of this though, he comes in like after the second act and it still turns out to be about him, you know what I mean? So that was just like bold storytelling as well. And I just love the fact that Villeneuve was like, okay, I'm going to pay tribute to this, I'm going to make this as grand as possible, and you're going to sit down for 2.5 hours and watch this shit. I don't care if you find it slow, I don't care if you find it boring, it's Blade Runner, come on, deal with it. Great cinematography, Roger Deakins deserved that Oscar, and oh my god, that music from Hans Zimmer. Wow, love that score, right? Almost dropped a phone here.
I'm running through.
Number 7. One of the best IMAX experiences I've ever had, 2013's Gravity. Alfonso Cuarón come and just shut shit down with this way. It was mind-blowingly awesome, dude. Just that opening scene. And I mean, yes, implausible stuff aside, this was just such a tense, well-made, tight film, you know what I mean? Just an hour and a half of just awesomeness, you know what I mean? Shout out to Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, they killed it, right? Alfonso Cuarón, show why he's one of the best directors with this movie here. And like I say, the IMAX experience was just great in my opinion. And last but not least, currently at the top of my list as far as best movies of 2019, Parasite.
Okay.
This one come and hit me so hard, man. I was like,
Nice.
just the divide between, the rich and the poor, and how they just show that in this Hitchcockian style. It was very dark and it was funny as well too, just very pitch black humor. But that just resonated with me so much in terms of just the parallel between, those two classes, and just masterful filmmaking and storytelling, you know what I mean? I just totally love this film. So those are my 10 to 6. Claude, what are your 10 to 6?
All right. Okay. We have the same number 10, Infinity War Endgame. Number 10 movies of all time. Of the decade. I'm a huge MCU fan. There's only like 2 or 3 MCU movies that I would call bad out of all 20 plus of them. I am a huge fan. It's easily my favorite modern franchise. Yeah. And Infinity War Endgame feel like not only the culmination, as you were saying, of all these years of storytelling and lore and character, and the conclusion of so many arcs. Like there's like 5 to 6 different character arcs that are concluded in this, and then another 5 that continue and are set up for more stories. But it goes very mythical. Like I was watching this and I'm having flashbacks to the Iliad and the Odyssey, and like older epics and like English literature and things like that. And it's a true epic. And you have this larger-than-life cast of godlike beings assembling for this mighty war with fates of billions on the line. It is a truly epic piece of pop art, in all honesty. It is a remarkable achievement of filmmaking, and I love it. Number 9, Martin Scorsese's Silence.
Yes.
is a movie that it hits you hard. It leaves you questioning everything. You sit there, you gestate, you think about it, and as a movie he struggled to get made, and then you see it, and it's nothing like anything else he's ever made. You can't really compare this to any other film in his filmography, and it is just absolutely fascinating. Number 8 is George Miller's return to the genre he's best known for with Fury Road, which is a feat of nonverbal storytelling, practical effects. Going back to what I said about Baby Driver, it's like this mythical, more stripped down form of storytelling where it's like older mythology. Like you see like tropes like the Fisher King or the Drought or the Wasteland, like all this other stuff going on, which Mad Max has always had a very mythical quality to me. So you go back to the older stuff like The Lone Wanderer in the Wasteland, all that kind of thing. And Fury Road makes it. And when you look at the storyboards, you can tell that it's also very comic book in the way it's filled up and set. Like, Miller wrote a comic book to storyboard this movie, and it's fascinating. Complete change of pace. I'm very picky about romantic comedies in general, but this one is one that I'm a huge fan of. Number 7 is Will Glick's Easy A, which is a movie. That's a movie that I don't think gets enough love. The closest thing I can compare it to is Juno, which is one of my favorite films of all time, but it was not made in this decade, so I couldn't put it on this list. But Easy A is a effortlessly funny, charismatic, romantic like movie, and it goes into like difficult subject matter and handles it all with a very sly sense of humor. And then the soundtrack is great, and then the performances, and then Emma Stone just steals the show like completely, and it's absolutely remarkable. And my number 6, I don't mean to get you guys to lose half your audience, but my number 6 is Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
That's fine. That's fine.
The numbers are dropped.
It's a great movie. I'm just saying.
that ain't tough.
No, I'm like, that is a movie. Like, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. You know this from our 3-hour special episode on Force Awakens.
It's 3 hours, man.
But The Last Jedi was theater tears, especially that scene when Yoda appears and he and Luke have that whole scene. I'm having all the emotions that I felt when I was watching 5 and 6 when I was 8, and it's this huge emotional beat for me. It is it's the movie that did, after Force Awakens came and established that it was still popular. Last Jedi was the one that really pushed and really asked questions. And Rian Johnson has said in the past he wants to make movies that leave people asking questions and that people either hate or love. Right. And I love that approach to Star Wars because he's not interested in like making an easy movie. He wants something that people are talking about and processing and thinking about and dissecting. And I love that. So yeah, my number 6 of the decade is The Last Jedi.
Summer, 10 to 6.
10 to 6. Very quickly, number 10 would be Gravity. Again, I saw that at IMAX. I actually felt a bit of vertigo while I was watching it. And it's a very stripped down movie, in terms of story, but it's all about the visuals. Yeah. My number 9 is Kubo and the Two Strings. I was completely blown away by what, like you said, that is such a complex movie to put together, but it's such a simple, beautiful, emotional story. That movie deserves so much more love than it gets. My number 8 is, it might seem like a strange choice for top 10, but John Wick.
Okay. A lot of people have been putting John Wick as the best of the decade.
Really?
Yeah, really.
For me, it's just a simple fact that we've gotten back. This movie came back to the old action movies like Charles Bronson and that type of thing, and it put together with the gun kata, if you want to call it that, and the martial arts, the editing, everything about that movie. The music is fantastic. It has completely launched Keanu Reeves back into the stratosphere. So I just love what it's done for action movies in general. My number 7, I was in complete tears by the end of this movie, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Really?
I know, I'm not gonna get hit for this. As somebody, I mean, like
it's
I said,
for me,
movie. I know there's a lot left out here, but what's there, I know a movie has made me cry like this in a very long time. I
That's
just
the
loved it.
power of Freddie Mercury.
And
The power of Rami
Rami
Malek.
Malek was amazing in this movie.
He was good.
Right? My number 6 would be Rogue One.
Okay.
No new Star Wars movie. I came out watching. I came out of that and I was smiling and I was like, that was different. That was awesome. And it didn't feel like it was connected to the whole Skywalker saga, which I'm getting burnt out on.
Yeah.
It was in the universe, but it was different enough that I didn't have to even, the Death Star stuff wasn't even factoring into me. The characters were amazing and that ending was so unexpected for Star Wars movies. So Rogue One for me, and that's my 10 to 6.
That is a truly subversive Star Wars movie.
Okay.
Sorry, Claude, last sorry.
Alright, 10 to 6.
I'm gonna go quick. 10 Spotlight. My
right.
day job was
Yeah.
Harry Potter, so it
I
resonates a lot
really
with
need to
me.
watch
I
that.
forget about that.
Yeah, Spotlight is really good.
Need
9,
rewatch, sorry.
The Irishman.
Okay.
Scorsese shows he's still doing it. Just take a water, just throw it at that movie. Just throw it. Number 8, Theory of Everything.
Okay.
Eddie
Okay.
Redmayne.
I-
That
Yeah.
movie
I need to rewatch that too.
hit me hard.
Yeah.
Number 7, Room. That
Yeah.
movie
Also
was,
need to
Yeah.
rewatch
that
it.
movie was an
Yes.
experience.
Yeah.
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson.
Yes.
So good, that little
Deserve
kid.
that
Never
Best
miss
Actress
name.
I forget about that.
Really, really good. And number 6, Arrival, one of the smartest
Oh,
science
yes.
fiction movies
Yep.
I have ever
Yep.
seen,
Yep.
and I love sci-fi. So that's my 10 to 6.
Alright, Ricardo, 10 to 6.
Okay, 10 to 6. Number 10, The Phantom Thread. Loved it.
Yep,
Loved
yep.
it. Loved it.
PTA.
Loved it. Catch me
Yeah.
at the ending.
Mhm.
Yeah, informative. Number 9. Oh boy. Right. Her. Right. Number 8. No. There's a Chilean film called No. Where they had to get the vote No out. Go see it. Great.
Alright, what year did it come out? So,
2012. Gail Garcia Bernard.
Alright.
Alright, where's this? Number
Number
8?
Number 7. Number
Series 7.
Yeah,
After
seven.
No was.
Number 8. No, 7. Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler. Tough.
Yeah.
Right, and
Great.
this number 6 is a tough one, but it way in my head. Stick it in my head. Roma.
Yeah. Roma was great. No denying that. No
I
denying
don't
that.
love it.
No, it was just so, it was from the heart. That's what I love about it. It was from the heart. It was so
What
nice.
movie is this?
Yeah.
Alright, so 5
No.
to 2. 5 to 2. Another tie. And sorry, after rep MCU to my dying day, Captain America the Winter Soldier, still the best MCU movie out there. And Captain America Civil War.
Right.
I had to put these two together. I
wouldn't put Civil War
I
next to-
wouldn't put Civil
What no, here's the
Soldier and then-
thing. Here's the thing. While, the Winter Soldier just amped everything, it just kind of transcended itself from being a superhero movie to being like this really intense action film. So much great action sequences in that movie, right? But Civil War, boy, did something I didn't think was possible, boy. Really split the Avengers lovers down the middle and have you choosing either Team Cap or Team Iron Man. They pulled that off excellent in my opinion. And to this day, it's still like, dog, but Cap was right, but Iron Man right too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And of course, the battle between the two of them and Bucky,
Yeah.
great, right? And how they continued Bucky's story as well. That's why I have it here. Number 4. Boy. I'm a Nolan stan, so I put this to be is probably the best film he has done this decade. Inception, 2010. This was the best movie of 2010 in my opinion. Hans Zimmer score, amazing. The performances, amazing. The cinematography and visual effects, amazing. I just love this movie. And it's one of those shows that like you watch it, like it makes sense. But when you had to explain it to somebody, it's like, some with dreams and you had to plug yourself in and things.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to put together, but this was the moment, Dread, where people were making the comparison with Nolan to Kubrick.
Yeah.
Not just in terms of the level of production he puts into his films though, but just the kind of originality, but kind of pseudo originality he puts into it. But this was the one where I was like, yeah, he's a great director in my opinion.
Yeah.
Number 3. A lot of people actually put this as the number 1 best of the decade. I kind of I understand, but at the same time, like, nah, I've seen 2 other better films. But number 3, boy, Barry Jenkins' Moonlight, 2016.
Yeah.
This, you know, we could talk about this as, oh, this was the film that beat out La La Land, you know what I mean, and the battle, all that kind of stuff. But this was such a powerful, such a very well told character study way, and it just zero in on the character of Chiron. Sorry, it's such a profound way, and really make you understand where this character is coming from. He's not representative of a particular group of people. That's all I would say. But it's just about you sitting down and really understand this character. Great cinematography, great storytelling, great writing, great acting across the board, and of course Barry Jenkins' way. I was like, yeah, this man's the truth. And number 2, hands down, the best documentary I've seen of the decade, OJ Made in America. This could have been number 1 for me. Right? My God, I love this movie. But I actually bought this. I actually bought this on Blu-ray. Watch it over again to prepare for this list, boy. And I was just blown away again at how it took a case that I was just kind of familiar of because of it was just like in the social conscious back in the 90s. But I didn't know all the details about that. This show went so in depth into it. They gave you everything, backstory, all the stuff that went on in the case, you know what I mean? Everything. And I just love the parallels, where it's like it's not just about him and what he did, but also what was going on with Ellie and the race, you know, with race and cops, and this went so in depth though. This is documentary filmmaking at its finest. Best documentary of the decade, hands down. Alright, Claude, 5-2.
5-2, alright. So my number 5 of the decade, best animated film of the decade, anime or animation. This is Mamoru Hosoda's other film, Boy and the Beast.
Oh, yes.
I need to watch that too. Yeah.
I actually just got a copy this week on in Blu-ray.
Okay.
Because I've been trying to track
that
down
a
copy.
Puncher of a movie emotionally. The things it has to say about fatherhood are remarkable. I watched this at a convention with a theater full of people, and it's amazing when everyone cried, when everyone laughed, when everyone went silent. We all know the scene we're talking about towards the third act. Everyone just like no noise at all. It was a powerful, well-told movie with this great sense of humor. I loved every second. Number 4. John Carney's music movie Begin Again with Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley, which I like. The soundtrack is amazing. I mean, I'm not an Adam Levine fan at all, but as a songwriter, the songs he writes for this particular movie are stellar, and the performances and the way it's done and everything, and like the way it loves music, but also the story of two people dealing with respective relationship issues who kind of find each other is a really human and very well-told story. And I mean, as you probably picked up from this list, I'm a big fan of music movies. I mentioned La La Land, I mentioned Baby Driver. Begin Again is also up there as a movie that understands the intimacy in sharing music with people. There's a scene everyone knows where it's like Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley, they go for a walk and they have that headphone splitter, and they get to listen to each other's best of playlists. It's like it's an emotional scene that's so
really nice.
Good.
Yeah, that's really nice.
My number 3 is one that has been mentioned before, but I love it. I will say this is Guillermo del Toro's The Shape of Water. For massive Del Toro fan. He hasn't made a movie that I don't like. I will die on that hill. Even Mimic, which is a rough around the edges movie. When you know what
circumstances, right?
Like, his dad was kidnapped while he was making Mimic. Like, he had other things in his life to deal with. And he was dealing with Weinstein. But The Shape of Water is his masterpiece. Like, it's a movie that, before I saw The Shape of Water, I was trying to figure out what my favorite Del Toro movie was, and The Shape of Water came out, and I was like, that one. I bawled openly when it won the Oscar for Best Picture and when Del Toro won for Best Director. Long overdue.
Long overdue.
It is a beautiful love story. It is a complicated thing as the way it handles war and relationships and people, and just remarkable. And also as a reimagining of the Creature from the Black Lagoon world and lore and characters. Like, I loved it. Like, it's a side of the character that I've seen other like monster nerds see, but Del Toro truly reimagines it in the way that it's home. And then my second is one that I think people, like, a lot of people feel like kind of forget this decade, but it's one of the most intelligent movies that came out this decade, but also like one of the best action films. This is the Hughes brothers, The Book of Eli.
Nice. Yes. Good pick.
With
Wow, okay.
I like it.
Wow, number
High
two.
pick.
like Book of Eli is one of those movies that you get the premise and it's like, oh, okay, Mad Max #4, I gotcha. And then you're watching and you're like, there is so much more going on to this film than you thought. And you watch it and it continues to unfold. In the vein of movies like Silence, and even going further back, things like Prince of Egypt and Passion of the Christ, the way it handles faith is also really interesting and asks really intelligent questions about that. And it's something that, for me personally, it helps to think about. And then the Hughes brothers' direction is absolutely spot on. I need to see some of the early stuff. Another one that one of them did that almost made it on the list, but I couldn't fit it on, was Alpha. That almost came out. The one about the boy, like the caveman boy and his dog, which was one of them made it. But like both of them made Book of Eli, and the Book of Eli is my number 2 of the decade. So.
All right, cool. You had us at Book of Eli, though, but I really dig that movie as well. Right. So what's your 5 to 2?
5 to 2. My number 5. I think I'm a little crazy about this order, but I'm sticking with it. My number 5 is Arrival. That movie blew me away, and what it says about language and everything, not just the visuals, but just the story it has to tell. When it gets into the time travel stuff, it gets a little hokey. Yeah. But overall, that's a fantastic movie. It's a movie that made me so excited that Denis Villeneuve is behind Dune.
Yeah, Amy Adams was she nominated for Oscar for this?
I can't remember.
I think she should have.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Anyway.
Then 4, make sure I have this correct here. What? Yeah. 4 would have to be Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Woo! Yeah.
Right? My number 4 is Wonder Woman.
I was gonna say pick up the action figure if you want to.
Oh yeah.
First of all, her theme is, in my opinion, as epic as Superman's theme.
Yeah, I love.
You hear it and you instantly want to sit up and find the Christopher Reeve's theme. You want, and then what Gal Gadot did with that character. I mean, she stole Batman v Superman just by appearing in it. That's all she had to do. That's all she had to do. This is just putting aside. I know it's flawed. That stuff with Ares is really weak, but just everything else. This was the beginning of what DC showed. We can do this if we just take our time and we give our directors the freedom to do what they need to do. So, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, good pick.
My next is, I'm cheating here. Bookmarking them because I remember them so fondly in cinema, and it was the beginning and the end. The Avengers and Avengers Endgame. So the first Avengers movie coming down, and then Avengers Endgame. Like I said, I'm bookmarking these two together because my memory of this is so fun. It brought me back to my 10-year-old self while I was watching it. And as you say, Endgame is just such a wonderful way of bringing stuff to a close, but yet still opening up new pathways. So yeah, I had to cheat and put them together like that.
Yeah, fair enough.
And my next would be Inception.
Thank you.
That's a love for the Nolan man.
Best Nolan movie
any
so
movie
far.
that can make me, like the end of that movie, I came out and we instantly started arguing about what was real and what wasn't. So
it was real, folks. It was real.
Right? When is he awake or isn't he? I just love any movie that can do that to you and hold on to you long after you've seen it. I think it's done its job. So that was that. And then my next is going to be Her.
Okay.
Because
it
was my best of 2013, and it is just so different. And yet so perfect. I don't. At Joaquin, I guess you would say it's his second best performance.
Agreed.
And Scarlett Johansson was on screen for me, even though it was just an AI. That's a fully fleshed out, fully developed character.
And if you know what I was saying, even though it came out in 2013, it was it felt like it was ahead of its time slightly too, because you see
because of all the social media and social network and how we connect with each other.
Exactly. Look at Siri, folks.
I freaking love that movie. So that's it.
Right. What is your 5 to 2?
5, mentioned before, Whiplash. What a powerful
yes.
experience of a movie.
Yes.
I mean, a film about music. Yeah, wow.
Great music, by the way.
Great,
Great
and
music.
really great music as well too. Number 4, people say it's overrated. I think it is fully rated. La La Land.
Okay.
I think that movie was an experience. So visually beautiful, such wonderful music.
Chazelle by the top 5.
Yeah, and Gosling and such great performances. I love the ending. I
The
love La La
ending
Land.
is lovely.
This one might surprise people, but I can't remember having this much fun movie in a long time. Dolomite is my name. Really? That movie,
Decade long.
yes. I found that movie
Alright, good.
hilarious.
Alright, good. Nice.
I thought the movie was inspirational.
Yeah.
I thought it was a wonderful comeback for
Eddie Murphy. He killed
and
it.
Wesley Snipes just came out of nowhere. It's like, hey Wesley,
And he was so
welcome
funny in
back."
it. He was the funniest in that whole movie. My God.
After that movie, I just felt so good.
Right.
I love Dolomite is my name.
Yeah.
And my second, I'm actually sticking with Netflix. Beasts of No Nation. I think
Okay,
everybody in
okay.
the world needs to go and watch that movie.
I will.
That movie is harrowing. The performances, Idris Elba, the young actor, so good. I love Beasts of No Nation, and that's my number 2.
All right, Ricardo.
Woo.
Wallace, 5-2.
Number 5. Well, 12 Years a Slave.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I only saw it once, and I
it
really didn't want to see it again.
It's one
But
of
yeah,
I like Shame a lot, but this is the apotheosis of this man craft.
Yeah, but a lot of people have this as their best stuff. So you're not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 4, Mother.
Yes, probably one of the most original films to come out.
No.
One of the ballsiest
No.
movie to come out in
No.
this decade. Answer.
That's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
What was the number 3? Right. Number 3, The Handmaiden.
Yes. Great.
Did not
Great
expect this
film.
to be so amazing.
Mhm.
Goddamn amazing. Eddie.
Very, very mature. I mean, obviously, but
Yeah.
mature at the same time. Yeah.
Number 2, this one, I had to leave out real movies, but this one is the thing. It's a tie. The tie for number 2.
Yeah.
And I have a clear number 1.
Mhm.
The Grand Budapest Hotel,
I had that on my list as well. Yeah.
right? And the first Avengers.
Okay, so why?
Very different films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Grand Budapest Hotel was a return to form for a thing.
For Wes Anderson.
Yeah, this in my opinion. I didn't like
Moonlight.
not Moonlight.
No, not Moonlight. No.
Moonlight Kingdom, sorry. Moonrise Kingdom.
Moonrise.
Yeah.
Moonrise.
Moonrise
Oops.
Kingdom. I didn't
Yeah.
really care for that, but Grand Budapest Hotel is just like flawless kind of running film.
The colors, though.
Yeah,
the,
colours
the,
and-
the pinks and the
And
purples.
it's
Yeah.
like stuff like Paddington and these kind of things you like as much, but it's just that just shine out. That's why our movies are like similar but cancel
Yeah.
out.
Right.
easily.
And why the first Avengers as opposed to all the other
No,
MC
yeah,
movies?
that was it. That is when
That's what I
comic
said
books
too,
is
yes.
very perfect.
That
Right,
is exactly,
right,
yeah.
right.
when listen, I was in theaters. Look, I like Iron Man 1. I like thing. But when Avengers hit,
Yes.
it's like, why watching here, Jared? And
Yeah.
it didn't make $1 billion. It was like the first to do $1 billion or one of the big
I think so.
billion
Yeah.
movies. The first time it hit that. Where it's like, is that $1 billion, Jared?
Yeah.
It sort of and you knew that was it. That was the beginning of the
Don't
MCU.
tell
Yeah,
them
there was no
Yeah.
stopping.
Yeah, I mean, I like
There's
it so
no
much more.
stopping
I like it
this.
so much more than the other Avengers.
Fine, fair
sequels,
enough. And it is
yeah.
a
I like it more than Infinity War. I love Winter Soldier, but still good. But it's just the level of it. Boom.
And yes, folks, we have made it here to the best of, well, the number one of the decade here. And here we could just kind of talk a little bit about why we picked this one as number one, why it really hit us so hard. Ladies first, might as well. So,
Put me on the spot like that.
I'm sorry.
Well, for me, no, it's really hard to just say number one. There's so much good stuff out there.
Yeah.
So it comes down to me, for me, as it was outstanding compared to the rest. It actually exceeded my expectations as well as subvert what it was supposed to fit into. And it was so much more than that. And long story short, Captain America Winter Soldier.
Really?
Wow!
Love this movie.
Great
Alright.
pick. Great
I
pick.
absolutely love this movie. And maybe I'm wrong here right now saying
That
best
is your
stuff,
pick.
but you know
Wrong
what?
with it.
Whenever I think of all 22 plus movies, up to this day, you ask me what's my number one, it's Captain America Winter Soldier.
Yeah. All right,
That
nice.
movie is flawless. It's the reason I love the Russo brothers, and I have complete faith in anything they do. And it's the best spy thriller I've seen in ages.
I know, right? Yeah.
Who knew?
It is what it is for me.
Nice, great pick. Ricardo, are we on the spot now? What's your number one?
You know, it have all kind of classic films. Whiplash,
Yeah.
good shit I had to leave out, a bunch of things, right? But this movie stick with me. I remember seeing it in a small screening. Just blown away, absolutely blown away by it. Technique, style, editing, just the story, harrowing, acting, great. I mean, it just covered the board for me. I know it have people who don't like this movie, but this movie just hit me and it's like, yeah, I had to be making movies like this. It's a simple story. It's a dark one, a rough one, but it's great. Son of Saul.
Still haven't seen it, but still.
Son of Saul is my number one of the decade. I absolutely love this movie, Dread. These great long takes where the camera is, how it's moving, it is telling the story from a back perspective. So stop moving in the background, you know what's going on, and you just have to piece together what's going on. Basically, the story is about a guy who wanted to just bury a child, and everything happening during the Thunder Commander Revolution during the Holocaust period.
Right.
I think it's in Poland. Powerful story, great ending. I mean, I just absolutely love this movie, Dread. It's a ride from beginning to end. And I was like, holy shit. Every movie had to be made like this from now on. I really love this movie, Dread. Didn't expect to enjoy it as much, but yeah.
But yeah, I definitely need to see that too. Claude, what is your number one pick?
All right, this is a movie that this is a sequel to a film that I adored, and I didn't think it could be better than the first one, but it was. This is my favorite film in my favorite series in my favorite franchise. It's currently going right now. Best performances, in my opinion, from all the cast, and the best film from this particular director. One of my favorite movies of all time, which I did not think a movie from this decade was going to achieve. This is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Wow.
This is
That's how you do it. I love it.
Volume 2, written and directed by my boy James Gunn.
Right.
Shit.
Here's a movie.
Always before one.
Yeah.
Here's a movie that Guardians of the Galaxy came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
We all were minding our own business, and all of a sudden the first film came out. And so Gunn has the responsibility of following that film. And there was a critic online who said that how does Gunn, make a movie sequel that's better than the first one by making you care more.
Yeah.
I saw this in theaters and I'm not talking man tears, I'm not talking regular crying. I was bawled openly. There was a kid a couple rows down who turned and was looking what? This is I just bawled. And it's a movie that gets me emotional every time I rewatch it. I was part of the rehire James Gunn movement because I felt that he needed to return. Gunn once said, and this was actually really clever, I thought. He said that any sequel where the characters are in the same place as they were in the first film is doing its audience a disservice. And so the Guardians movies, you can tell from the first to the second, there is a journey, there is a development. These characters are going through an arc, a very well constructed, very careful, very personal arc.
Yep.
And so, and then it's just fun. The music, the action, the coloring, the framing. There are gorgeous shots in this comic book movie.
Mm-hmm.
There are gorgeous shots. And then Kurt Russell, one of my favorite actors, doing a villain performance, which no one saw coming. Which, all my friends were like, who is this guy? And I'm like, you all don't know. This is Kurt Russell. We are not ready for this.
You need new friends, right? They don't know who Kurt Russell is.
I know, right?
Shame on them.
I'm here. I'm my Trini family. They all know Escape from New York, Big Trouble. They know what I'm talking about. Everyone else knows what's going on.
My favorite movie of all time.
So no, Guardians Volume 2 was and is a remarkable movie that I find myself revisiting over and over again. It's a decade-defining film for me. brought the MCU above and beyond just any regular like franchise for me. My favorite film of the decade, hands down.
All right, Julian.
All right, well,
Best movie of the
I'll
decade.
take two MCUs and Son of Saul. I think mine probably a little a safer one. Someone mentioned it earlier in her main list. 3 Billboards Over Ebbing, Missouri.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I think the perfection in acting, such a well-told story, such a realistic story.
Yes.
And as you mentioned, Sam Rockwell's character, you go from absolutely hating to loving and then kind of wondering about
You
it
are
after.
wondering.
And the thing is, and how could you enjoy a movie so well? Because the movie never really ends.
Yes.
It kind of just
Right.
continues
Yes.
like almost like real life. And that is one movie I when you watch as much movies as I do, being a movie reviewer, you kind of pick. Sometimes you watch a movie and you say, "Hey, from the trailer, I can tell you exactly what's going to happen, beat for beat for beat."
Right.
That movie, I had no idea what was going to happen. Just
Yes.
things here and there. I was like, "What? What happened there? This person did this? What? What?" I absolutely loved it. So it's the best of the decade.
Yeah.
All right. Just give me give me a few minutes. Don't worry, I know you have to leave, but let's understand why I had to pick this as number one, right? So this show hit me in at least 2 ways, right? First is, look, I know that when it comes to like filmmaking and stuff like that, right? Like, you know, like especially with our landscape here, you know, you tend to think, oh well, when you reach a certain age, you can't make certain type of films anymore. You have to kind of just do safe films, you know, stuff that, you know, elderly people will watch them because you're elderly, you're old, you don't have that much juicy tank anymore, right? That's one. Also, when you are one of the main, when you are one of the main influencers of a particular particular genre, you do what you have to do, and then people think, oh well, that's it. I mean, look at what he's doing now. He's not making the kind of stuff anymore. He's washed up, right? And then you come at a time, right? And think about it in terms of the 2010s, where nostalgia was the thing, right? And I would argue after this movie came out, nostalgia stuff just skyrocketed after this, right? When you could come at this era, Dread, at your age, and still raise the bar even higher, Dread, that is when I know you make a great movie. So number one, best movie of the decade is 2015's George Miller, Mad Max Fury Road. Yeah.
A lot of surprises.
I'm going high with this. I'm going high with this. I'm going high. Yeah.
Go with it, man.
I'm loving this. I am loving this. I'm not expecting any of what I'm hearing.
If you told me that George Miller was coming out with a movie in the 2010s, right, at his age, in the 70s, early 70s, and still be one of the most mind-blowingly, right, awesome movies ever put to screen, I'd be like, nah. Just stick to doing like what, you know, Clint Eastwood doing with like American Sniper and, you know, these little like, you know, nice little movies for old people to watch. No. This man influenced action with Mad Max and The Road Warrior, one of the best sequels ever. And this man came through and gave us a sequel which, in my opinion, I could just wipe away Beyond Tornado, because to me it's just like,
Can I keep this song? I like this song.
yeah, the song is great,
It
right?
looks hot in it.
It's a Captain Walker movie. That's not a Mad Max movie, Trent. But this one, boy, oh my god. Cinematography, perfect. Color correction, perfect. The music from Junkie XL, perfect. It is one of the most thunderous, most like heart palpitating music scores I've ever heard in my life, Trent. And the story is so deceptively simple, but when you dig it deep, it's like, oh well, it's about, you know, going up against the patriarchy and having this strong female presence. And I mean, Charlize Theron, too. Furiosa. Bad ass, Trent. My god, boy. And yes, Tom Hardy had you know, a big shoes to fill, and you know, in terms of playing Max Rocksteady, whatever his name is. Rockatansky.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yes, the last name is Rockatansky.
I said Rocksteady, right? Whatever. But I thought that he came through great as well. But yes, he was outshined by Charlize, but that was the point, right?
Yeah.
And it's just the visceral nature of the action scenes, the way how they put together, the way how they cut, you know what I mean? That's how they put together. And yes, it is an over-the-top film. I would say it is unabashedly a cult film, Trent. Just in your face. It's so weird and so out there, and yet people eat it up. And I was like, yeah, this is one of the best movies of 2015. And that's when you think, oh, but I mean, it's just an action movie. This doesn't need to be on this list. Oh, what about 6 Oscars though?
Yeah.
6 Oscars. Think about that, right? Think about that. For a movie so deceptively simple.
Yeah.
Oh, but it doesn't have that much story to do. It is bare bones, storytelling, Dread, just
It's a
done
movie that
in a
proves
very
that
great
there's
way.
different types of storytelling.
Thank you, yeah.
That's
And,
what it is, you
and
know?
it's an action film. Pure, unabashed action.
And
Pure,
celebrating action.
raw and cut.
Also, I will say as well, I feel like we are still seeing the effects of Fury Road on contemporary blockbusters. You know,
Yes,
because
yes.
you look at the way the MCU looked before Fury Road, and then afterwards they finally start saying, "Oh yes, color. We can have color. We can have over-the-top visuals." And then Aquaman is a
Yes.
look in so many ways.
Yeah. So to me, I gotta make a bold statement here. Closed up. This to me is like the Unforgiven of action movies, right?
Yeah.
Where somebody who has contributed a lot to the genre came back and just stepped everything higher, right? He raised the bar so high now other action filmmakers, including John Wick,
yeah.
had to come in. And I mean Parabellum. I love Parabellum, but I have a feeling they watched that. I was like, okay, we need to top that, and it was so great. That movie, Fury, was so great. Even the stunt team behind it was like, yo, where we Oscar nominations, right? Like, come on, look at what we do in this movie, right? It just stepped the bar so high, right? So totally love this. Mad Max Fury Road. I can't believe it. This is number 1 for me, but I'm sorry, Dre. Guy in the 70s came and just shut shit down, Dre. That is to be the biggest compliment I could give this. So number 1 for me.
Justice League.
My thing is that I'm sorry he's in his 70s because they give him such a hard time. I feel like we're not gonna get another Mad Max movie from him, from his perspective, with him behind the lens,
But I wish that we do though.
I wish we would.
And last thing, Jed. That guy on the guitar with the flames coming out. Is one of the greatest characters ever put to screen.
You guys need to look into that.
When you tell me you so bold with your storytelling, you like, all right, I want to have a character with that, doing that, right? I like, yeah.
Name throw guitar.
Yeah.
What I absolutely love, one thing Miller said is that when people complained about, why is this is all this female thing in this story and what is this about? He said the whole point of all the Mad Max movies, really, with the exception of maybe the first one, is this is Max's journeying through these worlds, and it's through this world, and it's other people's stories.
Yeah, not Max's
right,
story.
exactly.
Not Max's story.
Yeah.
So it was always meant to be like that. He didn't do it like that to say, okay, well, this is all feminist, whatever.
Right,
this
right.
is this story.
Correct.
He's like a little hobo. He just comes
Exactly.
in, with his story, and then he lives.
Yeah.
You talk about classic storytelling. Like the Mad Max is always supposed to feel like the older Conan the Barbarian stories.
Yes.
Exactly.
The
Wanderer, yes.
Yeah.
magical land and encountering different adventures in each new thing, and that's the point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, folks. So these were our picks for favorite movies of the decade. We made it. Yes, we did. Oh boy, just so glad to get that off our chest. So so before we leave, let me just plug ourselves though. So I mean, in my case, you can find me on Twitter. Just look for Bear Beat Bailey. On Instagram, Bears Beats and Bailey. On Facebook, just look for my name, Matthew Bailey, along with a Legally Black blog official fan base where you find the links to our Bear Beats and Bailey podcast. I do with him. And then also with Was He Seen, well, the link is there so you can find more videos of a similar nature there. Claude, where can we find you online? Well, I know you have a YouTube channel, so you can plug it, I guess.
Yeah, no, I've expanded. So if you look for CC Lilford on LinkedIn and Facebook, you'll find me. You will find me as CC the Martian on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.
All right, nice. Now that I know you on those platforms, I'm gonna check your stuff out. Oh yes, and thank you.
CC _the_Martian.
All right, and before I forget, thank you so very much for coming through. It was a blast having you here. Just collaborating with us. We really need to do this again.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Ricardo, where can we find you online, good sir?
As usual, Passat RMEDY at RMED on Twitter, and then just type in Ricardo Medina on Facebook. You can find me there. And I'm writing a book that's driving me slowly crazy.
Right, and we will be looking out for this book in 2020.
Absolutely.
I'll make sure that it comes out. Summer, where can we find you online?
Movie Junkie for Life on YouTube, and on Facebook you can find me under Movie Junkies Continued.
All right, nice.
You can find me on my website, Red Mango Reviews. Summer's also there. She runs a horror section. You can also find me on Facebook, Movieville, and I'm also on Instagram at RedmanWriter.
All right. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So feel free to let us know in the comments what were your favorite movies of the decade. What was the worst films you saw of the decade as well? Do you agree with our picks or not?
Do you think
comment
our
below.
number ones are insane?
Yeah. Especially mine.
I'm happy to say the trash was a short list. So
Yeah.
I think that's
Just stuff that we don't need to see again, but maybe it might get worse with the upcoming decade. Who knows?
Okay.
But yeah, I'm
Jack
expecting.
and Jill too.
Ah.
Jack and Jill expanded universe.
Anything but that. But yeah, I mean, here's to another great decade of
Yeah.
just fantastic films. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just can't wait to see what comes up. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. So once again, this is Matthew and Claude. Thank you for showing up again. And
Ricardo?
Summer.
Julian.
And we are setting off another great decade of films. So until the next decade, take care. Peace.